Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery.
Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive with us.
Yeah, welcome.
This time we're exploring open space technology.
Yeah, open space technology, or OST.
It's this really cool way to tackle big challenges.
Yeah, get everyone together.
Exactly. And we're going to be using the Liberating Structures website as our main guide.
Oh, that's a great resource.
Yeah, it's amazing, this kind of thing.
So just imagine for a second a meeting.
Okay.
Where you actually have a say
All right.
in what gets discussed.
That's novel.
Right. Like you get to put things on the agenda that you're super passionate about.
And then
solutions just come up naturally.
Yeah, organically. It's like,
that's kind of the magic of OST.
that's the idea, right?
Yeah.
Like turning things on their head a little bit.
Totally. Like flipping the script on how we usually do meetings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all about this idea of self-organization.
Which basically means...
So we're ditching those rigid agendas. There was bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. Yeah, someone's in charge and...
Exactly. And instead we're letting the people who are actually there...
The participants?
Yeah.
Propose and lead sessions.
On the stuff they actually care about.
It sounds a little chaotic.
I know it does.
But it's actually designed to harness that group intelligence.
The collective wisdom of the room.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why it's so effective.
Well, yeah, when you give people ownership over what's happening.
Right.
They get way more engaged.
I mean, think about it. If you're stuck in some boring meeting...
Where you're like, why am I even here?
Totally. And you feel like your voice doesn't even matter.
Yeah, you just zone out,
You're checking your phone.
Totally.
But if you're actually part of shaping that conversation...
Yeah.
And you're actually bringing your ideas to the table.
Right. Then you actually care about the outcome.
Exactly. You're invested.
Yeah, you're invested.
And speaking of being invested, OST has this super cool concept.
Oh, yeah.
It's called the Law of 2 Feet.
The Law of 2 Feet. I love it.
So cool.
Tell me more.
So imagine you're in a session.
Right.
And let's say it's about marketing.
Okay.
But as you're sitting there, you realize...
You know what?
Marketing's not really my jam.
Yeah.
My real passion is over there in product development with the law of 2 feet. You are free to move.
Get up and go.
Yeah, to a session that's actually aligned with your interests.
To where you can really contribute.
And your expertise.
Yes.
So you're always maximizing, your contribution.
Yeah. I love that because it really ensures that everyone is engaged in giving their best thinking.
You're where you need to be.
Right. And that's really what open space technology is all about.
Yeah, it's harnessing all those different perspectives and experiences in the room.
Getting all that wisdom.
Okay, so I'm sold on the concept.
All right, good.
But how does this actually work in practice?
What are the nuts and bolts?
Right. What are the nuts and bolts of actually setting up an open space meeting?
Well, luckily for us,
yeah,
the Liberating Structures website lays out these 5 key elements, or min specs.
Okay.
We call them min specs.
Min specs.
Yeah, it's cute, right?
I like it.
And these are basically crucial for making sure that your open space meeting is actually successful.
So these are the foundational pieces.
Yeah, think of it like the foundation for,
building the house of a successful open space meeting.
Where ideas can flow and solutions can come up.
Okay, I'm right. Give me those min specs. I'm taking notes.
Okay, number 1, the invitation.
All right, the invitation.
This is super important.
Okay.
This is where you clearly say, hey, what's the challenge?
Okay.
What's the question that we're all here to tackle?
So it's not about telling people what to talk about.
No.
It's more about setting the stage.
Right. It's about getting people excited about the challenge.
And that's so different from normal meetings.
Oh, totally.
Where it's here's the agenda. We're going to talk about this, this, and this. But isn't there a risk that the conversation will just become totally unfocused or unproductive if you don't have a clear agenda?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
But remember, the invitation sets the boundaries.
Okay.
Even though the participants create the agenda, everyone's still working towards that same goal.
Gotcha. So it's focused but flexible.
Exactly. And the second min spec.
Okay, hit me.
This one's called space arrangement.
Space arrangement.
Yeah, and this is all about the physical space.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the environment needs to be open and flexible.
Okay.
So we want to encourage people to move around.
So ditch the boardroom
exactly
with the big table.
Yeah.
Bring on the comfy chairs and the whiteboards.
Exactly. You got it.
Yeah, where people can actually feel comfortable sharing ideas.
And getting up and moving around.
Love it.
All right. What's next?
So the next one is all about participation.
Okay.
Participation.
Yeah. And this one really emphasizes that everyone has an equal opportunity to contribute.
No matter who you are.
Exactly. And, our friend, the law of 2 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Really plays a key role here.
Because you can move to where you feel like you can contribute.
Exactly. You can self-select into the conversations.
Where you can make the most impact.
Exactly.
So no more like sitting through presentations.
That's stuff that makes you want to fall asleep.
Yeah, that have nothing to do with your area of expertise.
Exactly. You're free to focus on what you're actually passionate about.
Now that's liberating. All right, what's the next one?
All right, so the next min spec is called group configuration.
Group configuration, okay.
And this one highlights how, dynamic the discussions are.
Okay.
Because, groups are forming and dissolving.
Oh, interesting.
As people move between different sessions. So you get this, cross-pollination of ideas.
It's like a living, breathing network of conversations.
Exactly.
Constantly evolving.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
As people are connecting and sharing their insights.
I love it. Hey! You ready for the last one?
Yeah, hit me at number 5.
Okay. The 5th min spec is sequence and time allocation.
Sequence and time allocation. Okay.
This is all about making sure that there's enough time.
Okay.
For all the good stuff.
For brainstorming.
Yeah.
Action planning.
You don't want to rush the creativity.
Right.
But you also need to make sure that there's time to turn those ideas
into concrete next steps.
Exactly.
And do enough time for both.
Both divergence.
Okay.
Which is coming up with new ideas.
That's true.
And convergence.
Right.
Which is picking out the key themes and actions.
I'm starting to get the picture here.
Yeah.
So we have these 5 min specs that are the framework for open space technology.
Right.
But I imagine there are some potential pitfalls.
Oh, for sure.
Right. No method is foolproof.
No, absolutely.
What are some things that we should look out for?
Well, one of the big ones is not having a clear and compelling challenge.
Yeah.
If people don't know what they're trying to solve.
Yeah, if they're not bought in.
Then they're not going to be motivated to participate.
So you need that central question.
You need that thing that everyone's yes, let's solve this.
That sparks that curiosity.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's one pitfall. What are some others?
So another big one is having a facilitator who tries to control everything too much.
Okay.
Because OST is all about letting go.
Letting go of that control.
Right, and trusting that the group
will figure it out.
Yeah, has the wisdom to come up with something good.
So the facilitator is more like a guide.
Right, exactly.
Than a dictator.
Yeah, you're creating the space for things to happen organically.
Okay. What else can go wrong?
Oh, this is a big one. Not writing stuff down.
Okay.
Not documenting the outcomes of all these discussions.
Because if you don't write it down.
Yeah, that's it never happened.
Right. All those great ideas just disappear.
Yeah, you lose all that momentum.
You got to capture those gems.
Exactly.
Speaking of gems. You know what this reminds me of?
What's that?
That anecdote from the Liberating Structures website about the painting.
Oh, yeah. The one with the art student.
Yes.
Asking the master.
Yeah.
What's the hardest part about painting?
And the master's like.
The blank part.
Yeah, the part with nothing on it.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's so good.
Because at first it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense when you think about open space.
Right.
You're starting with this blank agenda.
Right, it's empty.
It can feel kind of scary.
It can.
But it's also full of potential.
Yeah, exactly. It's like an empty canvas just waiting.
To be filled with ideas.
Be filled with the group's passion and energy and all that.
And just like a painter fills a canvas.
Stroke by stroke.
The open space meeting comes alive.
With all those insights.
And so those initial moments of emptiness.
Yeah, where it's what are we doing?
Right.
That's actually where the magic happens.
It's like a blank slate.
It is.
And one of the things that I love about OST is how flexible it is.
Oh, yeah. It's not like a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right.
The Liberating Structures website even has a whole section.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Called Riffs and Variations.
Yeah, riffs and variations.
It's great.
What are some of those riffs and variations?
One example is combining open space with something called World Cafe.
World Cafe.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah, it's another one of those liberating structures.
Okay.
And it uses these rotating small group conversations.
Okay.
To really dive deep into a topic.
So if you combine those two.
Yeah, you get the self-organization of open space.
Right.
But also those focused conversations from World Cafe.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like a super combo.
You're getting the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Are there any other interesting combinations?
Oh, yeah. Tons.
Okay.
For example, you can combine OST with 1, 2, 4 all.
1, 2, 4 all. What's that?
It's this really cool technique for coming up with ideas as a group.
Okay.
And then refining them really quickly.
Okay.
So again, you're like tapping into that group wisdom.
Yeah.
And you're actually able to come up with like actionable outcomes.
So OST is super adaptable.
Super adaptable.
You can use it in tons of different situations.
That's right.
And that brings me to those real-world success stories.
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
I'd love to hear more about how OST has actually been used.
Yeah, to make a difference.
And make a real difference.
You mentioned a business turnaround, right?
Yeah.
So the Liberating Structures website.
Yes.
Tells this great story about a woman named Allison Joslin.
Okay.
She used OST to lead this huge transformation at her company.
Wow.
So she was facing this like really tough situation.
Okay.
And she needed to find a way to get everyone on board.
Okay.
And like tap into their ideas.
So she didn't just call a normal meeting?
No.
With like PowerPoint presentations and a set agenda.
She said, forget that.
She was like, we're doing something different.
He's like, we're trying open space.
Wow.
So she invited all of her employees.
All of them?
To this 3-day open space meeting.
That's amazing.
And she basically just presented them with a challenge.
Wow.
Like, here's what we're facing. How do we solve this?
That's so cool.
And the results were amazing.
What happened?
People from all different levels of the company came together.
Yeah.
They shared their ideas.
Yeah.
They actually collaborated on solutions.
And this actually led to a turnaround for the business.
It did.
That's incredible.
And it makes sense, right? Because the employees, they're the ones closest to the problems.
So they probably had the best solutions.
Exactly. And because they were part of the process.
They were more invested in making those solutions actually happen.
Exactly. It's a perfect example of how empowering people
can lead to real change.
To amazing outcomes.
Okay, what about that healthcare example?
Oh, right. So this one involves the Innovation Learning Network. This is a group of healthcare professionals who are all about improving patient care.
Okay.
And they wanted to find new ways to work together.
So collaborate.
Yeah, and share their knowledge.
So they decided to use OST.
They said, let's bring everyone together.
And brainstorm ideas for the future of healthcare.
Exactly.
So it was like a bottom-up approach.
Yeah.
Where everyone had a voice.
And they could share their insights and come up with new ideas.
And what were the results of that?
Really positive.
Yeah.
People felt like energized and inspired.
That's awesome.
And they came up with some seriously innovative ideas.
That's what we like to hear.
Ideas that could really change people's lives.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
This whole deep dive into OST, it's been really eye-opening for me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm seeing how this method can be applied in so many different contexts.
Oh, totally.
From businesses to healthcare.
To community organizing.
To education.
It's all about giving people the space to connect and collaborate.
And make a difference.
I agree with you completely.
And it's not limited to any one industry or sector.
Nope.
Anyone can use it.
Anyone who wants to unlock the potential of a group.
And tackle those complex challenges.
In a way that's engaging and fun and creative.
We've talked a lot about the how of open space technology.
Right, the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
The min specs.
But I want to explore the why a little more.
Okay, why?
Why is this approach so effective?
All right, why does it work?
Yeah, what is it about self-organization and the law of 2 feet that leads to those amazing outcomes?
Well, I think it comes down to motivation.
Motivation.
Yeah, like when you give people the freedom to choose what they work on and how they contribute.
They get excited about it.
Yeah, they unleash this passion and energy.
For sure.
That you just don't get.
With those old school top-down approaches.
Yeah, it's like, think about it.
Yeah.
You're way more likely to go the extra mile.
To put in the effort.
If you actually care about what you're doing, absolutely. The Liberating Structures website says it really well.
What do they say?
They talk about bringing your whole self to the table.
I like that.
Your passion, your expertise, your creativity.
Yeah, when you create that kind of environment.
People feel valued.
Right,
respected.
And they're going to bring their best ideas.
Their A-game.
So it's like a win-win.
Totally a virtuous cycle.
You get more engagement, which leads to better outcomes.
Which leads to even more enthusiasm.
And the cycle just keeps going.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is.
And it reminds us that we don't always need a plan.
Right.
Like a super detailed, rigid plan.
To get things done.
Sometimes the best way is to just create the space.
Yeah, for people to self-organize.
And to connect in a way that feels natural.
And empowering.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
What do we want them to remember about open space?
About this whole thing?
Well, I think the main thing is that open space is a really powerful alternative to those traditional ways of doing meetings.
To the old way of solving problems.
Yeah, it's a framework for getting the most out of a group.
For tapping into that collective intelligence.
Passion experience.
All that good stuff.
In a way that's actually fun and engaging.
It's about making meetings not suck.
I love that.
Right. Turning those boring, unproductive meetings
into dynamic, engaging experiences
that lead to real results.
And the cool thing is, you already have everything you need.
You do.
It's all there within your team, your community, your organization.
The passion, the expertise.
The creativity.
It's already there.
Open space just helps you unlock it.
It gives you the structure.
The permission.
To make it happen.
It's about shifting the focus.
From control to collaboration.
From hierarchy to shared leadership.
And from being passive to being active.
It's taking charge.
And like we saw with those examples, those real-world success stories, that shift can lead to some pretty amazing things.
Business is turning around.
Healthcare innovating.
It's really cool.
It is.
Open space is not just some theory.
Right.
It's a tool that actually works.
It's been proven.
And anyone can use it.
That's the best part.
You don't need some fancy degree.
You don't need to be an expert.
All you need is a willingness to let go a little bit.
To embrace the unknown.
To trust the process.
Okay, so final thought for this deep dive.
All right, hit me.
We've talked about what open space is.
Right.
And how it works.
The nuts and bolts.
Now we want to leave you with a question.
A question to ponder.
What complex challenge are you facing?
In your life, your work.
What's that thing that's been bugging you?
That you just can't seem to crack.
Is it something that requires people to work together?
To be creative. To think outside the box.
Could open space be the key?
To unlocking that solution.
Remember Allison Jocelyn?
Yeah, she transformed her business.
By embracing open space.
She tapped into the collective genius of her team.
And turned things around.
Pretty amazing.
So if you're feeling stuck.
If you're looking for a new way.
A better way.
To approach a problem.
If you're ready to unleash the potential of your group.
Your team, your community.
Then give open space a try.
You might be surprised.
At what you can achieve.
When you let go of control and embrace collaboration.
That's it for our deep dive into open space technology.
Hope you enjoy it.
We encourage you to learn more about it.
Yeah, check it out.
And see if it might be a good fit.
For your next challenge.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
And keep exploring.
New ways to connect, collaborate, and create positive change.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.